She sees you now. I remember the rain that night, like it was etched into my skin fine. Relentless drizzle that turned the world into a smeared watercolor painting. It was mid-December, the kind of London winter where the cold seeps into your bones and makes every breath feel like you're re-inhaling shards of ice. I was 16, bundled up in my school blazer and a scarf that smelled faintly of my mum's lavender detergent, trudging through the outskirts of the city toward St. Iloan's Academy. The school loomed like a forgotten relic on the edge of town, its Gothic spires clawing at the slate-grey sky. Built in 1872, they said, back when Queen Victoria was still on the throne and people believed in ghosts more than they believed in therapy. It was just another Friday detention, my third that month, thanks to Mr. Hargrove catching me sketching caricatures of him in the back of history class. Lydia was there too, my best mate since year 7, dragged in for excessive daydreaming during maths. She was the quiet one, all wide eyes and freckles, the kind of girl who apologized to doors when she bumped into them. We were stuck alphabetizing dusty old books in the library until 7. The rain pattering against the leaded windows like impatient fingers. That's when Ethan Brooks sauntered in, all cocky grin and gelled back hair, pretending he had permission to check on his mates. Ethan was 17, captain of the debate team, and the undisputed king of bullshit at St. Iloan's. He had this way of leaning against door frames, arms crossed, like he owned the shadows. "Oi, Evans," he said, his voice dripping with that mock posh accent he put on to annoy people. "Heard you're still on about that Bloody Mary bollocks. You gonna chicken out again? Or what?" I rolled my eyes, slamming a tome on Victorian poetry back onto the shelf. "For the last time, Brooks, it's not bollocks if it's real. But I'm not wasting my time on some stupid mirror game for your entertainment." Truth was, I'd heard the stories 100 times, whispers in the corridors about the girls' bathroom on the 3rd floor. The one sealed off since the 90s, after a plumbing disaster. They said if you stood in front of the big mirror at midnight, said Bloody Mary 3 times while pricking your finger and letting a drop of blood hit the glass, well, she'd come. Mary Whitmore, a girl from 1899 who'd vanished right there in that room. Her final words scrawled in what looked like blood on the mirror. "She sees you now. She sees you now." Lydia shivered beside me, her fingers twisting the hem of her jumper. "Clara, don't. It's creepy enough in here, without dragging up old ghost stories." Ethan laughed. That sharp bark that always made my stomach twist in a way I hated admitting. "Come on, Evans. You're the one always banging on about being fearless. Prove it. Tonight, after detention, you and Mouse here." He jerked his thumb at Lydia. "Go up to the 3rd floor, do the ritual, and film it for the group chat. If nothing happens, you win. If Mary shows, well, I'll buy you chips for a month." I should have said no. God, I should have. But Ethan had this knack for poking at my pride, like he knew exactly where the soft spots were. And Lydia, poor sweet Lydia, looked at me with those pleading eyes, but I could see the flicker of curiosity too. She was the one who'd first told me about the blood part, something she'd read in an old forum post from some ex-student. "It's not just chanting," she'd whispered once, late at night in my room, our breaths fogging the window. "You have to give her something real, a drop of your life." By 7:30, the rain had picked up, drumming on the tiled roof like it was trying to break in. The school was emptying out, teachers shuffling to their cars, the last stragglers cursing the weather. The janitor, Mrs. Hargreaves, was mopping the entrance hall, her hunched figure lit by the flickering fluorescent above. She was ancient, probably pushing 70, with skin like crumpled parchment and eyes that seemed to see right through you. As Lydia and I signed out, she straightened up, her mop pausing mid-swipe. "You girls heading home, best mind the storm, and stay clear of the upper floors. Wind howls up there like the devil's got a grudge." I forced a smile. "Just cutting through, Mrs. H. promise." She fixed me with a stare that lingered too long, her lips pursing like she'd tasted something sour. "3rd floor's no place for the living, Miss Evans. Mirrors up there. They remember things they shouldn't." Then she turned back to her bucket, muttering something about foolish lasses and their games. Lydia grabbed my arm as we slipped past, her nails digging in. "See, even she knows. Let's just go home, Clara. Watch Netflix or something." But the hook was set. Ethan's text buzzed in my pocket, waiting for the vibrate heart. "Don't disappoint." I pulled Lydia toward the east wing staircase, the one that creaked like old bones underfoot. The air grew thicker as we climbed, the rain's murmur fading into a distant hiss. By the 2nd floor, the lights were off, plunging us into that half-shadow world where outlines blurred and every corner hid secrets. Our footsteps echoed too loudly, swallowed by the vastness of the empty halls. The 3rd floor was worse. The door at the top stuck, groaning as I shoved it open, and a blast of damp cold hit us like a slap. It smelled of mildew and something metallic, like pennies left in a puddle. The corridor stretched out, lined with lockers dented and forgotten, their paint peeling in curls like dead skin. At the end, half hidden by a chain and a faded "Do Not Enter" sign, was the door to the old girl's bathroom. Clara ... Lydia's voice was a whisper, barely cutting the gloom. She clutched her phone like a talisman, its screen glow casting eerie blue highlights on her face. "It's fine," I lied, my heart already thudding against my ribs. "Just a laugh. Ethan's an ass, but he'll eat his words when we post the nothing that happens." I unhooked the chain. It was rusted, flaking red under my fingers, and pushed the door. It swung in with a sigh, revealing the room beyond. The bathroom was a tomb. 3 stalls, their doors hanging crooked, tiles cracked and veined with black mold. A single sink basin, chipped porcelain, stained brown, and above it, the mirror. God, the mirror. It dominated the far wall, easily 7 feet tall, framed in ornate wrought iron that had warped over the decades. The glass was warped too, rippling like disturbed water, its surface filmed with grime, and what looked like rust streaks, dark, irregular smears that could almost pass for dried blood. If you let your imagination run wild, faint scratches marred the edges, half-erased words that might have been "she sees" if you squinted in the right light. The only illumination came from a naked bulb overhead, buzzing faintly, its yellow glow stuttering like a dying firefly. Shadows pooled in the corners, and from somewhere deep in the pipes, a steady drip 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 echoed, slow and deliberate, like a clock counting down to something inevitable. Lydia hung back in the doorway, her breath coming in shallow puffs that fogged the air. "It's freezing, and that smell, like rot. Stop being dramatic." I flicked on my phone's torch, the beam slicing through the murk and bouncing off the mirror in fractured glints. My reflection stared back, distorted, my eyes too large, my mouth a twisted slash. I looked ... wrong. "Okay, ritual time. You ready?" She shook her head, but stepped in anyway, the door creaking shut behind her. The room felt smaller now, the walls pressing in, the air heavy with that cloying dampness that made your clothes cling. "You first," she said, voice trembling, "and film it." For proof, I nodded, pulling a safety pin from my blazer cuff, the one I'd used to fix a hem earlier that week. It glinted coldly in the torchlight. Ethan had texted the rules again. Face the mirror, chant the name 3 times, prick your finger, let the blood fall. Simple, stupid. I positioned myself dead center, Lydia off to the side, her phone aimed like a weapon. The bulb flickered, plunging us into strobe-like darkness for a heartbeat, then back, drip, drip. The faucet wept a single ruby tear into the sink. "Bloody Mary," I said, my voice steady, despite the gooseflesh crawling up my arms. The mirror seemed to ripple, a trick of the light, or maybe the rain outside vibrating the glass. "Bloody Mary," louder this time. Lydia's breathing hitched beside me, warm against the chill. The 3rd time, I pressed the pin to my thumb, wincing as it broke skin. A bead of blood welled up, dark and viscous in the dimness. "Bloody Mary." I flicked my hand, and the drop arced forward, spattering the glass with a soft pat. It didn't slide down, it clung, spreading like ink in water, staining the ripples crimson. For a moment, nothing, just the drip of the faucet, the buzz of the bulb, Lydia's ragged exhale. Then the light died completely. "Clara," her voice was small, swallowed by the black. I fumbled for my phone, dead, the screen blank. Panic clawed at my throat, but I forced a laugh. Power surge, bloody ancient wiring. The darkness was absolute, pressing like a weight, and in it, I swear I heard it a whisper, not from Lydia, but from the mirror. Soft, like silk tearing. "I see you." The bulb snapped back on, blinding. I blinked, tears from my eyes, and there we were, me, pale and wide-eyed, thumbs still oozing. Lydia, frozen beside me, her mouth open in a silent scream. But behind us in the mirror, not the room, something shifted. The glass fogged, not from breath, but from within, like cold breath on the other side. And in that fog, a shape coalesced, a girl, pale as bone, her dress Victorian lace, yellowed with age, hair matted and dark with ... something. Her eyes, God, her eyes were hollows, but they fixed on me, unblinking. Lydia screamed then, a raw animal sound that shredded the air. I spun, grabbing her arm. Lyd, it's just she wasn't there. The space beside me was empty. Her phone lay on the tiles, screen cracked, still recording somehow, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. I snatched it up, heart hammering. The video showed Usmi chanting, the blood falling. Then the light cut, and in the static, a flicker, Lydia's face, twisting, her eyes rolling back white, mouth stretching impossibly wide. And behind her, the girl from the fog, hands like claws reaching from the glass. "Lydia." My voice echoed, bouncing off the walls, but the room was empty. Just me, the mirror, and the drip drip drip. Faster now, like laughter. I bolted. The door flew open under my shoulder, chain rattling forgotten. Down the stairs, 3 at a time, blazers snagging on the banister. The rain hit me outside like needles, soaking through, but I didn't stop until I was blocks away. Lungs burning, tears mixing with the downpour. My thumb throbbed, the pin still clutched in my fist, slick with blood. I texted Ethan from Lydia's phone. Mine was still dead. It happened. She's gone. Help. No reply. Minutes later, my own phone buzzed back to life in my pocket, as if nothing had happened. Battery full, but the group chat was silent. The police came the next morning. Mum held me while I sobbed out the story. Detention, the dare, the bathroom. They searched the school, top to bottom. Mrs. Hargreaves found the chain rehooked, the door shut tight, no sign of a struggle. Lydia's phone was gone. I'd dropped it in the panic, or so I thought. They questioned Ethan. He swore he'd left before us. No knowledge of any ritual. His eyes darted away when they asked about the video. Just a prank. Officers, Clara's always winding people up. They didn't believe me, not really. Kids and urban legends, one constable muttered, patting my shoulder like I was a child spinning tales. Searches turned up nothing, no blood on the mirror beyond the old stains. No new scratches, just the drip of that eternal faucet. Mocking, Mum drove me home in silence, the wipers slapping rhythmically against the rain-smeared windscreen. Our flat in Croydon was a shoebox peeling wallpaper, a single bathroom with a mirror that fogged no matter the temperature. I avoided it that night, brushing my teeth in the kitchen sink, but sleep wouldn't come. Every creak of the building was Lydia calling my name. The first time I saw her for real, or what I thought was real, was 2 days later, in the mirror over the sink at school. I'd skipped lunch, hiding in the second-floor loo, splashing water on my face to wash away the exhaustion. The glass was clean, modern, nothing like the relic upstairs. But, as I looked up, there she was. Lydia, standing just behind my reflection, her head tilted at an odd angle, like a doll with a loose neck. She smiled slow, stretching her lips too wide, teeth gleaming unnaturally white. I whipped around. Empty stall, empty room, heart slamming. I smashed my fist into the mirror cracks, spiderwebbing out. But her image lingered in the shards, fragmented but still smiling. "It's not funny, Lyd," I whispered to the empty air. "Come back." She didn't. Ethan cornered me after class that week. His usual swagger cracked around the edges. "Evans, what the hell? Cops at my door. If this is some elaborate joke, it's not." I shoved past him, but he grabbed my wrist, his grip too tight. "Listen, I saw the footage you sent from her phone, before it cut out." His voice dropped, eyes flicking to the shadows in the hall. It wasn't just static. There was ... something. In the mirror, looked like you, but not. And Lydia, she turned to it, like she knew it. I yanked free, bile rising. "What do you mean, like me?" He shrugged, but his face was pale. "Just ... forget it. Stay away from there, from everything." But I couldn't. The hauntings, if that's what they were, followed me. At home, in the foggy bathroom mirror, Lydia's reflection would appear when I least expected. Her hand pressed to the glass from the other side, fingers elongating like they were trying to push through. Once, I watched in horror as the fog cleared, revealing not my face, but hers superimposed over mine. Her eyes in my sockets, blinking out of sync. Nights blurred into nightmares. I'd wake gasping, convinced I'd heard the drip-drip from the third-floor pipes echoing through my walls. Mum noticed, of course, bags under my eyes, jumping at shadows. "It's grief, love," she said, hugging me tight one evening over tea. "Lydia was your best friend. The police will find her. Runaways, that's all it is." But I knew better. In class, during a boring lecture on the Industrial Revolution, I'd glance at the window's reflection. There she'd be, sitting at her old desk, head lolled forward, hair curtaining a grin that split her face ear to ear. Teachers walked right through her image, oblivious. Worse were the photos. My phone recharged, innocent started filling with them. Selfies I'd taken weeks ago, innocuous shots from the autumn fair, now doctored. In every one, Lydia stood behind me, closer each time, her expression evolving. First curious, then sad, then ... hungry. The latest, snapped that morning in the mirror before school, showed us side by side, me oblivious, her arm slung over my shoulder, fingers brushing my neck like claws. I deleted them, but they reappeared, and the videos, oh God, the videos. Scrolling through my camera roll late one night, I found a new one, time-stamped midnight, though I'd been asleep. It was shaky, first person, like from my own eyes. The third-floor bathroom, the bulb flickering, my voice hoarse, not quite mine, chanting, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, ... The blood drop hitting the glass. Then Lydia's scream, cut short, and as the light died, a hand not hers, pale and veined like marble, reached from the mirror, wrapping around her waist, pulling her in. But the face turning to the camera, it was mine, smiling. I smashed the phone against the wall, shards scattering like teeth. Mum bought me a new one the next day, but it was the same. The same photos, the same video, looping eternally. Mrs. Hargreaves found me there once, slumped against the school gates after hours, rain mixing with tears. She shuffled over, her mop forgotten inside, and pressed a thermos of tea into my hands. Told you, lass, mirrors, remember. What happened up there? I choked out. In 1899, Mary Whitmore, she didn't just vanish, did she? The old woman's eyes clouded, like she was seeing ghosts of her own. Worse than that, she called her thinking it a lark, like you. But the glass, ... it takes what's offered. A drop of blood's a promise, see, binds you. Mary came back, all right, through the girl who called, wore her skin like a coat. She touched my cheek, her finger cold as the grave. And now, it hungers again. I pulled away, running home through the downpour, her words chasing me like the rain. It's been weeks now. The police gave up, filed it as a runaway case. No leads. Ethan's avoided me since, whispers following him like smoke. He knew. He pushed her, but I see him in mirrors too. Sometimes his reflection fracturing, eyes hollow, mouthing words I can't hear. Lately, it's not just Lydia. In the new phone's screen, when I check my messages, none from her, ever. I catch glimpses of others, girls from old yearbooks, faces pale and twisted, crowding behind her. And Marielle was Mary at the back, her bloodied dress trailing like smoke, her hollow eyes promising things unsaid. Last night, as the rain whispered against my window again, I stood before the bathroom mirror, steam from the shower cloaking it in fog. I wiped it clear with a trembling hand, and there I was, me, Clara Evans, 16, tired, broken. But as I watched, my reflection smiled first, slow, deliberate, lips stretching too wide. Then I felt it, my own mouth curving against my will, teeth bared in a grin that wasn't mine. Behind me, in the glass, Lydia stepped forward, her hand on my shoulder, fingers sinking in like hooks, and in her eyes, our eyes, I saw it. The third floor, the drip, the blood, not hers, not mine. Who came out that night? Who's typing this now? Fingers slick on the keys, wondering if the face in the laptop screen is still me. The rain's picking up again. Drip, drip. I think I'll go back to the school tonight, just to check, just to be sure. You believe me, don't you? Because if you don't, she sees you now.